and welcome to this week's Facebook Live. My name is Deborah Byrne from Deborah Byrne Psychology Services, known across social media as DBpsychology. This week we're talking about, sitting still and finding alone time. That's what the title means this week. I know it's quite a long title, so people might get a bit confused. But we do need to find alone time by ourselves every day. And I know with COVID, an awful lot of people are feeling very self-isolated. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, just finding time for yourself in a busy day, where you're interacting with people. You've got children at home, especially, your partner's there, people, maybe you've extended family living with you at the moment, you're looking after, maybe you're a carer. You do need time for yourself. You really do need time for yourself. Research has told us that we need about 20 minutes of alone time every day. So what do you do during that time? What do you do? How do I use that time to be healthy and to benefit my mental and physical health? I have a lot of ideas around that, and I've spoken about it before. Part of it, and part of this morning's discussion, is about using that for meditation. It doesn't have to be a big meditation either. It can just be 3 minutes. There's a 3-minute breather. I have a link to a podcast. If you want to explore meditation even further, you could explore one of my other podcasts and for mindfulness, or an extend the 3-minute breather, which is a deep breathing technique, and it does really calm the mind to do the full 7-11 technique itself over about 5 to 10 minutes. But you could also try yoga, tai chi, something relaxing. So I'm not talking about something very energetic in terms, I know there's more energetic types of yoga, so something more in terms of relaxing, the relaxing forms of yoga. But just to sit still, just to get the mind to calm down and sit still, even allow yourself to daydream is okay. That's good. We shouldn't be discouraging the children from daydreaming. It's really, really beneficial, both to your physical, mental health and to your creativity. And we're talking about creativity this morning. So that's part of the sitting still time. The meditation, that sitting still, allowing our mind to wander. And meditation, a lot of people think meditation is about quietening the mind completely to dead silence, and that's not what it's about. It's about not attaching, or grabbing hold of the thoughts. It's not grabbing hold of the emotions. It's to just sit with them, sit with the thoughts, let them float on by, but not attach onto them, not to give them more energy. It teaches us to, sit with our emotions and how we're actually feeling. And therefore it teaches us to let go, to allow ourselves to let go of things that are not beneficial to us. Allows us time to see what we can't control or what we can control, which is more important. And it also sets a boundary, taking that alone time to remember we're saying no to the constant busyness, but we're saying no to other people and saying, no, I need this space. I need time for myself. So, we're setting time and giving a boundary, to other people and to ourselves. It also teaches us, to adapt to our reality, and to spot any kind of hidden obstacles we might have, that are there. And that's important. I think that's really important when we're on the hamster wheel and we're so busy, we're getting caught up in stress, getting caught up in negative thinking. We kind of put blinkers on ourselves. We don't see the wider picture. We don't see the hidden obstacles. We don't see the true reality of what's going on around us. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. It can be more positive. But when we're in that negative frame of mind, all we see is the negative. We don't see the benefits and positivity around us. So allowing ourselves to step off the hamster wheel, the constant little busying, it just allows us to get in touch more with the reality of what's going on and to adapt better. So some of the benefits that I talk about, I give 8 benefits in the blog this week. Some of the benefits, I think it's important to highlight them because sometimes then that will encourage you, or say, oh right, I can understand that now much better, and therefore I'm more willing to do that. I'm more willing to see why I need to do that. So some of the benefits, of course, is one, it gives you time to think. 20 minutes out, away from other people's influence, away from all the social media, the news feeds, television programs, whatever it is, just alone time allows you to think. And therefore, it allows you to listen to yourself, your inner voice, and to allow ideas and solutions maybe to come up that wouldn't come up if you're that narrow focused and you're constantly going and you're just building and building and building the stress levels and the anxiety levels. You kind of, you're able to then step back. The meditation in particular teaches us to be able to take a step back, to stop and to think before we make a decision. Where if we don't take that time to step back and think first, we react rather than be proactive, and that's much more important to be proactive. Um, Number two, it allows us to build self-knowledge. So if you're taking time out to actually listen to yourself, of course you're going to get self-knowledge. You're going to find out things about yourself. And that's important. We get to know ourselves, as I said, away from the influences of other people, to find out what we really want. What do we really want in our lives right now? Who do we want in our lives right now? Is this person that I'm interacting with, are they really a positive person for me? Or are they a booster to my energy? Um, it gives us space for clarity as well. That space, that self-knowledge, but also then space for clarity, as I said. Number three, it allows us time to learn to, or put in practice, some self-acceptance, self-love, time for forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Always remember, forgiveness is about yourself. Reconciliation is about the other person as well. So, it allows us, and we need that. We need that self-acceptance, that self-love, self-forgiveness in it, and they are all positive. People put a very lot of negative connotations on those words, but they're not. They are actually, very positive to do this for yourself. And it does expand out. It's like dropping a pebble in a pond, as I say, and it ripples out then to others. Um, it allows us to let go of the shoulds and should nots that other people are trying to put on us, and to set the boundaries, as I said, and also to slay those inner critics. And generally, if there's an inner critic in there, that inner critic, you didn't come with that inner critic when you were born. You built that up from other people's influences and not listening to yourself. Um, so, you're learning this with this self-acceptance, it's a healthy boundary. With self-forgiveness, it's a healthy boundary. It's slaying those inner critics, those negative thoughts, those cognitive distortions, as we talk about. It's allowing you time to do those. Um, Number four is all about the creativity. It's about, learning to be more creative, and you taking that time, that 20 minutes maybe, to do something creative. Now, in saying that, it doesn't have to be actual creating something. You don't have to be very arty. You can appreciate art. You don't have to write something if you feel, no, I couldn't do that. But you can appreciate a book. You can appreciate poetry. You can appreciate music. You don't have to take part in it, the creation of it. But you can, if you want to, you can go and learn something. And we have to remember that, particularly now and going forward in the future, we are going to need creativity for a couple of reasons. One, it increases your productivity. We forget that, and I think the workaholics really do forget that they forget to take that time out, to be creative. They're very more so on the logical side, rather than looking to the creative side of the brain. We need to allow that to flourish. But creativity also allows outside the box thinking. And that's what we really need as a society, a world society going forward, to help the world, I feel anyway. Um, sometimes we can feel very self-conscious and therefore very stifled by other people's influence, as I said. So, taking the alone time or time by yourself, it allows for your creativity to come up. You don't feel so self-conscious if you do decide to write some poetry or to write some words or to journal or to paint something or even color something in. And particularly if in the past you've had, that, you've had people who weren't so supportive towards that kind of work. Um, but also think of journaling. As I said, 20 minutes of journaling would be really great. You could start with 3 minutes of meditation, followed by some journaling, even if it starts off with, and as I say to my mums in my group, you know, um, start off with the to-do list. Start off with anything you've forgotten on the shopping list. Start off with all the things that are in the front of the head here that's just bursting to get out. Get them down on paper first, and then let it all flow. And with 20 minutes, you'd really get a good flow of emotions and thoughts, and allow yourself to really speak. You allow your inner self to really speak with a journal. Visualization, as I said, don't knock the kids doing the daydreaming. Allow yourself. Visualization is very much attuned to um, to daydreaming, and allow that thought to come up. Yes, you can do structured. You can get podcasts, and I'm sure there's stuff on YouTube where you get a very structured visualization that you can do, which may be constructive for you. But you can just daydream. Allow yourself to daydream with a cup of tea. Just savor the cup of tea, cup of coffee. Just sit and savor it. Really soak in the smell, soak in, the relaxing atmosphere that you can create by just relaxing while you drink something, and then just let your mind wander and do some daydreaming. And that's creative. And that allows things to bubble up that we wouldn't normally be kind of pushing down because we're so busy. Number 5 is the rest and refuel. Just taking that 20 minutes to yourself can allow yourself to just go, it's like, oh God, thank you. Just relax. Just take the time out to take a few minutes to rest. You're getting off the hamster wheel. You're having a rest. And reconnect, as I said, with yourselves and the reality around, but also just going and having a soak in the bath for 20 minutes. Persuade your partner to look after the kids for the 20 minutes, or even, a lot of people are working from home now. Put the kids go to school, come home and have your bath and have a relax. Pop in the bath bomb or whatever it is, or some oils, and just relax for 20 minutes in that bath before you head in to do any sort of work. Just have an easy morning even once a week, especially in the run up to Christmas. I've been talking about that with my mums this week, self-care, extra self-care in the run up to Christmas. I did a workshop on that with them. Think about this as reducing your stress, reducing the anxiety and the fear, and easing the risk of burnout, which I've talked about a few weeks ago. Very, very, very important. So this is a rest and refuel. It's like a pit stop. We take a rest and refuel. 6 would be, to process the emotions. As I said before, this alone time and this, even particularly meditation, will allow you and teaches the brain and teaches the body to reconnect, the mind and the body to reconnect, but it also teaches us to sit with the emotion and how we're feeling right now, to sit with the thoughts, and to reflect also on our behaviours, our own behaviours. An awful lot of time we can be very critical of other people's behaviours and how they react. But if you want to be more proactive rather than reactive in your life, then, realizing how you're behaving is very important. And really then also taking the time to release any emotion that you have, release those feelings and fully release them. Sometimes, and it is very important, I have to stress this, it is important, particularly if you're very stressed, to have or anxious or that, or you're going through a very particularly tough time, that you do reach out to your positive support system, and they can help you greatly. But sometimes, again, just like creativity, we can be very self-conscious about crying in front of somebody. We can be very fully crying and just really having a very good cry. Sometimes what we need to let the pressure out. We can be, or to express other emotions like anger and that in front of other people. So, we can, because of that self-consciousness, having that alone time can allow you to really, really release the emotions in a fully release them, and in a less subconscious way, in a less, I suppose, conscious way than you would be around other people. So that's important. Um, the next one is to be grateful, a bit of gratitude. The journaling, as I said, is important there. And it is something you can do during that time, but also to just sit and reflect on gratitude and what you have and appreciate it. Again, very stressful year, has been a very, very stressful year for most people, and a lot of anxiety. People have a lot of anxiety coming up. There's a high risk of PTSD among people and children, and there's also a high risk of burnout, particularly among the frontline staff and that. So, taking that time to appreciate what we really have in our lives, and I think this month in particular, with November, it is particularly on the in the United States, and that they talk about Thanksgiving and that, but it is something maybe we can adopt ourselves here in the run up to Christmas, is this gratitude, to have a gratitude to and reflect on what all the good things we have. Particularly, as I said, if you feel like you are constantly running a race, or you're going from one crisis, is like you're putting out one fire after another, then you don't always get that time to see the full picture and to appreciate what you have. So allow that 20 minutes can allow you to do that. And the last one then is, of course, you gain self-confidence. As I said, taking the time out is setting a boundary. Setting a boundary with yourself, setting a boundary with other people. It's saying, I value myself. It's saying, I am valuable. I matter to other people. So, we can take time, that 20 minutes can be used to take care of our very basic self-care needs. To me, the basics of self-care, and I've talked about these extensively, is your collapse point. It's kind of the point where you can go to on a minimum basis every day, and you don't allow yourself to go below that, because when we go below that, that's when we're spiraling down, and we could be triggering out some mental health issues, such as depression and that. So we really need to have a baseline which we don't go below every day. So, we're saying to the world, we're saying to our own brain even, and we're training our brain to recognize, all the things we have. We're training our brain to recognize that we matter. And therefore, we gain self-confidence, we gain back our self-esteem, which we can lose, particularly around stress and anxiety and depression and mental health issues. We can, an awful lot of the time, our self-confidence, self-esteem will take a massive knock. So I will leave it there at that. It's a longer Facebook Live than usual, but thank you all for listening. I think it's an important topic. I think it's really important that we do take time out for ourselves, particularly if we're very rushed, very stressed, very anxious. An awful lot of the time as women, we can look after other people and put our focus on them, but we fail to focus on ourselves, and then we run out of steam, and that is never good. So as always, to say thank you all for listening. Thank you all to everybody who watches. I know an awful lot of people watching replay. And thank you to Deirdre as always for supporting. And I will see you all next week.